This is going to be my end of March, beginning of April mini garden tour because I can't really keep track of what's going on now since everything is happening so fast. So this is just going to be an overview. So as you can see here, this was my starting herb garden. So the basil, it's not doing so hot now, but the other basil that I started way back when is doing a little bit better. I did put it outside a little bit and then forgot about it to try to harden it off, and it's got a little crispy on the leaves, but it's recovering. And then these are the marigolds that are doing really well, and some arugula that's doing really well too. I put these outside as one tray, so the marigolds and the arugula have actually done pretty well in recovering from being neglected for an hour. Oh, and the hollyhocks as well. So this is hollyhock seedlings. Everything's starting to get, really leggy because it's crowded, but I just hadn't had the time to try to put everything outside because we don't really have good space because it's so cold and windy, very, very windy outside. And the greenhouse hasn't been, well, as useful. I'll show you later. But I'm able to put anything in there because it's been so flimsy. But so far, indoor stuff is doing really well. I think I would say I had about 90% of things grew very well. I had a few deaths and just non-germination rates. So the garlic chives were one of the first things I started along with the basil. And as you can see, just one lonely little plant came out. I don't know why, because the regular chives, which are these, as well as these, did just fine. So I don't know if it's a brand thing or just garlic chives do not work well. Oh yeah, and the thyme's doing great too. That was the very first thing I had ever started this year. And it's starting to get nice and bushy, getting a little bit of color at the tops. It's doing great. So the rest of these here, so this is the peppermint from, actually, is that nope, that's the oregano. That is the oregano, and this is the peppermint. It looks very similar. That I started along with the basil and chives. And then this is also the parsley I started. I have some more parsley up here. I did? Oh, nope, they're right here. Right here. So this is some smaller ones I was gonna give away. And then these bigger pots are permanent ones. So they're just kind of making a row of keepers here that we're gonna transplant eventually to pots like the rosemary and the thyme are in. So I'm very happy with that. They were the beginning ones and they've been doing very well. So the catnip that we tried to grow did not survive. So I put some watercress in here and I got a few little seedlings popping out. So we're gonna see how those grow. I haven't had watercress before, so in terms of eating them or growing them. So that'll be new for me as well. And of course, little tiny bok choys. They're really spread out because of being indoors, but I don't have a grow light, so it is what it is. But they're still, of course, edible, and they're forming their little bok choy-ness spots right in the middle, so that'll happen soon. They're getting close. And those were the beginning ones that I started. Since then, I have started some more trays of plants that I intend to put outside. This is just my neglected onions that I found growing in the closet. So put those somewhere else. Let's put you over here for now. There you go. Be by the marigolds. Okay. So what we have here is a whole tray of the Cascadia snap peas from High Mowing Organics. And these popped out like 2 days after I planted them. It was really impressive. Same with these cabbages. Again, very quick germination. I'm very pleased with that. These were supposed to be some Red Baron onions. Not doing so great, so I'll have to try a different way of starting onions from seed. And then this is some lavender. Since it's warm enough inside, we started some lavender, so we got a few poking through, hoping to eventually get it to this rosemary's level and add it to our permanent herb collection. Over here we have, this is more of the rehab tray we have over here. This is actually doing really well. Some extra chives. These were supposed to be some Swiss chard and marigolds, but I think it was too warm in the house, so the chard didn't do so well. So I'm going to try chard again outside. These are some more basil seedlings I started just as having extras just in case. And then another random marigold that popped up. String of pearls, but that's not part of the edibles here, so that doesn't quite count. My girlfriend has a million succulents and ornamental plants in the house that she's propagating as well, so that's where they come from. And the collection grows ever larger. And more brassicas are up here. So we have, let's see, so this one, yes, and yes, they are leggy, but they'll do just fine. Okay, so over here, right here is a whole bunch of broccoli, Waltham broccoli. And over here we have some more of those, oh no wait, over here we have some more of those bok choys that I showed you earlier. And then over here we have Brussels sprouts. I have a feeling the Brussels sprouts are going to be too late started in the year, but we're going to try them and see how they do regardless. And if it doesn't work out, we can always try for the fall sowing. And then finally, in the semi-edible collection over here, we have flowers. So each one is a different flower. So this first one is a nasturtium, Alaska mixed nasturtium, hasn't popped out yet. These are chamomile, which you can see a ton of little seedlings here, so I'm very happy about that. This is some sort of calendula. I forgot what the SB stands for. And they've just popped out since last night. And then here we have some snapdragons, which you can kind of see they're starting to sprout up too. They're very, very tiny, just like the chamomile seeds. So we have flowers going to be transplanted. These two rows are leeks, and you can see the little babies right there. So these are ultra leeks. These are supposed to be harvested in the summer, so they're earlier. Hoping I did not sow them too late, but if that's the case, I do have winter leeks as well. I can always start those next week. And then over here we just have some random salad seeds, which of course they popped out pretty quickly as well. I am going to try putting these trays out while they're young and do a much more frequent short interval of having them be outside so that they can harden off sooner rather than wait until they're big like this one. I think that was that alongside just not getting them out more frequently has been the biggest issue with causing the damage on the leaves here. I feel bad for this one, but the rest of the basil is doing okay, so I'm not too worried. So yeah, I'm gonna put these outside again later today because right now it feels like 30 something degrees, and tomorrow, this weekend, is supposed to be in the 70s. So I'm gonna take advantage of that by putting everyone out for a little bit, put them in the sort of a square raised bed wall, but it's not filled in, so I can use it almost like a cold frame. And hopefully that'll give them a little more sunshine and be a little less leggy too. One thing to do with combating the legginess when you're transplanting these, they can just be buried up a little on the stem, and so you don't have to transplant them shallowly. You can transplant them up a little bit, and that can reduce the legginess and give them a bit more support. So that's what I plan to do. Peas don't really have a problem with legginess because they are trellised anyway. So these I'm going to get out pretty soon into a bucket since they like cooler weather and they can handle the 40-degree temps at night. And that is about it. I am running out of space on these shelves, so that is the other reason why I want to get them outside soon so that I can start my tomatoes and cucumbers mid-April. They're going to be starting soon this month because time keeps flying by. And I'm very, very excited because even though I don't like to eat tomatoes, they are super fun to grow in my opinion. All right. I'm sorry, did I bore you? Are you bored? I'm talking about plants. Not everybody is excited about that. You want to say goodbye? Say bye. That's not what I meant. So here's the outside part I was talking about, and even though I like the smaller size of the greenhouse, it is very, very cheap material, so it's already been broken through. I had to try to tape the plastic to no avail, and it's already snapping at the joints there. I had to try to duct tape those joints and it's not working, and it's just ripping apart, and it's only been about a week or two. So I like the style, don't like the materials of it. Thankfully it was only about $30 or $40, which is probably why, but the original price before clearance was about $60 or $70, so that would have been way too much. But honestly, I'm thinking of getting some wood or steel posts and mimicking the design, but hopefully it'll stand up better to the wind, because the wind coming from the west so strong and it just knocks it around. So we tried.